Welcome to Chop It Up. Welcome everybody to Chop It Up. I'm your host, Pastor T.C. Thomas is in the house. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. And that's a good thing because I don't like being cold. Neither do my wife. Speaking of my wife, hey baby, that's my baby. She right at home, got my heat on up, high, probably on 80. And I'm looking at that gas bill, looking at my wife, saying, I got to pay this bill.
Amen.
Hey baby, my wife Phyllis is in the house at the house. I just want to give out a shout out to her. And I want to give a shout out to my co-host that's out of town, my brother, Minister Philip Robinson, and his wife Stephanie. Hey y'all.
Hey.
Enjoy your vacation, do your thing. You know, they're good people. I love them to death. And I want to introduce you guys to my other co-host, and he going to introduce you to his guest. Y'all met her before, and then I'm going to introduce you guys to the special guest. Introduce to you guys my co-host, my friend, my pal. We've been going way back from third grade. He's been following me ever since then. I've been his leader. Michael Steve.
What's up? Chop it up. Man, it's always good to be back, man.
Hallelujah.
Hang out with my brother from another mother.
Yes.
Yeah, the truth, though, is that Tim was a follower. He followed me. I had to take him under my wing, and we've been friends ever since third grade.
Amen. Well, you got to learn. You got to be a follower before you become a leader. You got to learn how to follow. I did follow you, but now I learned how to become a leader gracefully.
You're probably one of my oldest friends.
Yeah. Now you talking.
I usually don't let friends stay around that long. But you know.
It's something about me. It's something about you that stuck with you, huh?
Something about you, yeah.
All right, hallelujah. I'll take it.
Yes, I wanted to introduce my special guest. She's been on the show before.
What?
Yeah, she has. This is my boo.
Hey, boo.
Kiana.
Hi.
Say hi, Kiana.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Well, let me just say, for the record, I'm more than just his boo. I am also an assistant pastor, so I do more than just follow Michael. Just to put that out there.
I didn't say she was a follower.
I just want to put that out there.
Y'all know how couples get.
Yes.
It's good to see you back to the show. Welcome
you.
back to Chop It Up. Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
And now I want to introduce you guys to the special guest of mine, Pastor Octavia Lucas.
Hey, Minister TC.
Hey. Tell us something about yourself, because she had a show before it was going on, so this is nothing new to her. So chop it up. Tell them a little something about you.
Yes. I did have a show before, my husband and I. It was called The Toolbox, but unfortunately some things happened. He passed away back in August, so I just kind of just gave it just a little bit of rest, trying to just process through some things. And but I am Pastor Octavia Lucas. We're the pastor of Global Evangelistic Ministries right here in Cleveland off of St. Clair. And I know my brother, Minister T.C. Thomas, and it's so funny because when he asked me, I was supposed to do it last week, but when he asked me, even after that whole week before today, I just started going through just different feelings because, with me, everything is memory with my husband now. So every little thing is like it flashbacks, it set things off. And just when I think I'm ahead, of the game, something to come and like pull me back. And I was just thinking about, I'm like, oh my God. So just getting myself together to come back into the building was a lot because he's normally downstairs waiting for me.
Yes.
And so, but I'm here and I'm holding it together. So I just want to tell people that said, if you see a little tear or you see a little something, it's still all fresh.
And it's all right.
It's still all fresh. I think it'll be 3 months this month. Yeah. So it's still just all fresh.
Yes.
But I'm happy to be here,
Yes.
though. I'm happy to be there to conquer. It's not so much a conquering, but so much
Healing.
just healing and
Yeah.
and moving forward.
Moving
You know,
forward.
just moving forward because you can get stuck.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I wanted to
Yes.
really start to talk about this show, basically life after death. And some people might think like, oh, somebody died and they seen something and they came back. But actually, I'm talking about the other part of life after death. How do you move on after death? And I just thank you for coming out, first of all. And second of all, I just want to tell everybody that this is our really first time really personally meeting each other.
Yes.
I have seen you before.
Yes.
I've been to your church before.
Yes.
You didn't know who I was. Like, who's that guy?
Right.
And I will tell you, because also I know Prophet Brown. You know.
Yes, Mark.
Okay. Now the thing was, you guys had something at your church, and he invited me out, and so I came out, and it was real. It was a cold night. It was raining.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me go on out here. I got dressed, and I was driving, and I drove up to the parking lot, and I guess you were the usher, parking attendant. The guy like, you could park right over here, da-da-da. He said, hey, TC, Mr. TC. I look like, who is this guy? How do you know me? I'm like, Lord, is that you? And I come to find out, Pastor, was your husband. And I'm like, wow, that blew me away because I had never met him. But he already knew me. I knew I had the show, but he already knew me. And I thought that was remarkable.
did.
And he was so loving and kind. I'm like,
Yes.
wow, I like this. This brother got something going on. I saw the Christ in him. And he was operating in him. And I'm like, wow. And it was really good to see that. And I went into the church and everything was great. The service was great, and Pastor, she's a dynamite speaker. If you guys don't know, check her out. And so, so basically, I did meet him that one time, and I was, he really made a big mark in my heart, and he was very nice, and I fell in love with him that day right
Yes,
there.
yes.
So he was a very
Yes,
approachable guy,
very.
very loving, humble man, and so I thought it was very nice. So I felt that I was watching and I was following you a little bit, and I seen that you was preaching somewhere, and God put in my heart, to call you up, and so we could talk about life after death, and because I really believe that. This program is going to help a lot of people. Hopefully, anything that going on with you, you see that God is in the midst and He's moving forward. So let's get the show on the road, And you guys got any questions, jump in, because I'm quite sure everyone has some kind of death in their lifetime, so a close friend, a family member, and how you dealt with it. Because a lot of times, people don't want to talk about death. Death is
Yes,
like that
sir.
scary,
Yes.
taboo. Don't talk about that because it shouldn't be there. And the thing is, when God made man, we was meant to live forever, because He's forever. And when Adam and Eve, ate the forbidden fruit, death came in. And so that's why a lot of time people are afraid to die, don't want to die, because really, death's not really in our spirit. But since, we sin is part of it now. And we got to learn how to deal with it, understand it, and try to basically understand it so we could deal with it. So let's talk about your husband, Pastor Kevin Lucas. Tell me how you met him.
Funny story. Well, you know what? Not so much a funny story. Well, we met in ministry.
Okay.
I tell people just a quick little thing. Me and my husband, we were always friends. And we always, we worked together in ministry. We was in the same ministry. We was under his brother. First of all, I'm from New Jersey.
Oh,
so
Jersey.
we was under his brother, the late Walter Brian Lucas Jr. And we was just just in ministry. I'm doing my thing. He doing his thing. He served so many roles. He was a deacon, assistant pastor, everything that he could put his hands to do. He was just side by side with his brother. And then I'm on the other hand, I'm a teacher. I'm a youth teacher. I'm interested over different things. And so we're just working in the ministry together. And it's so funny because I tell people we didn't have like a courtship.
Okay.
We didn't. What brought us together? First of all, we didn't even know we had these feelings for each other. And I didn't know he had these feelings for me, and so we're just moving in ministry and stuff like that, and having no courtship or anything like that. Like dating or anything like that, because that wasn't on our mind. It was more so one day, just out of nowhere. But we've been friends for years before this, and just out of nowhere, he just asked to marry me.
Are you serious?
Yes, he.
Y'all hear that, y'all? Oh, the pastor Lucas. He got the guy. Boom.
He did. He asked to marry me, and And I like to tell people it was really based off of just based off of friendship, because after a while we did develop a tight friendship. Now I'm not gonna say like feelings didn't start meshing and different things like that, because they did start meshing, but they wasn't so much obvious. Like, okay, I know you like me, I like you. Let's So, but we knew. And different things like that. So he proposed to me. We went to our favorite restaurant, yada yada yada.
So you didn't see it coming at all?
I didn't see it coming. I really didn't see it coming at all. Went to the restaurant, that was almost a big fiasco. Almost turned tables over like Jesus.
What? Oh, now you gotta give us some details. Give us some details.
We went to a favorite restaurant in New York, because everybody always stayed in New York. We stayed in New York, just going downtown, all over. And so we went to this restaurant called Minnetus. And so I don't even know how he did it, because we walked in together. I don't even know where he went. I don't know anything. So, finally we get our dessert, and I get this cheesecake, and it has this big strawberry on it, right?
Nice.
And so I'm eating my cheesecake, and so finally I bite into the strawberry. But long and behold, the ring is in the strawberry, but I didn't know it was the ring. I'm getting ready to go off.
Wait up!
I'm getting ready to hit the roof. Can you imagine? Something in your mouth and crunchy, and then to see what it is, and then like I'm getting Apostle. He like okay, babe. And the waitresses, they kind of know what's going on, so they standing around like looking, and nobody is saying nothing, because they all knew what happened, and I'm like. Where's he's Kevin. Kevin, where is, what is this? He's like, babe, spit it out. Take it out your mouth. So then I take it out my mouth. Then so, I go through the whole emotion, and, everybody's clapping. He's like,
that's sweet.
I was getting ready to flip my table.
Everybody put the kung fu fighting.
I was talking about lawyers. I was talking about.
I'm about to whoop the butt, and I'm gonna get paid.
So long story short, we get this. So we got engaged that April, and because we knew at that point that it was God, and He knew that I was. His wife and everything, and everything like that. It was a big story in between, but I'm not gonna go into that. He knew that, and so we got engaged that April, and we got married that November.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't believe in long court. Listen, if it's God, it's God. I don't need 20 bridesmaids. I don't need a long dress hanging out the door. So I had one. So we had one apiece. He had his best man, and I had my best girl, which was the assistant pastor of the church. And my daughter was my daughter, because I came into marriage, with a child, and she was the flower girl, And we got married, went on our honeymoon, and we've been married 25 years ever since then. And my brother-in-law made the dress. So I told him,
wow.
yes, my brother-in-law was a seamstress and he sold real good. And
I
so,
like to see that dress.
yeah, I like to fit it. And so we said we got engaged and we told him, look, we was like, okay, when we going to get married? He was like, what do you think about November 13th? I said, whatever, November 13th. And so we told his brother, I said, I got to have a dress by November 13th, and colors was black and white. And that was it. And we got married. I told him, I don't want no long draw. And listen, I'm not waiting 7 years to get married.
Amen.
If I'm the one, I'm the one.
Amen. I like that.
I'm the one. Let's get married.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's good. And it don't take a long time.
It don't
Me and
take
my
a
wife
long
got
time.
married 6 months. It don't take a
It
long
don't
time.
take a long time. I promise you it don't. If
don't.
she the one and he the one,
Ladies, y'all hear that? Tell that man, don't be taking
It don't take
forever.
long.
Don't be
It
taking
don't.
5 or 6 years,
It
7
don't.
years.
It
Or tell
don't.
that woman.
Oh, tell that woman, y'all
take
women know who you
long.
are. Don't be afraid. Just pray and know what you want.
And he had the house already, so I just moved in. So we wasn't talking about going by getting the house and getting the
Right.
partner. I just transitioned on in, me and my daughter, and
Yeah.
and
Man got to bring something to the table,
Yeah,
ladies.
don't
Make
take-
sure you got
Yes.
somewhere for you to live at. Don't be living in a shoebox.
Right.
All right, soon you get things situated, we can move forward.
Right.
That's a nice story. That's a beautiful story. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you guys,
I just like the fact that you all
Question?
were friends.
Yes,
And, it started off as a friendship.
it did.
And I always believe that, when you're talking about a mate, that you should start off as friends.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be anything more than just friends. And then it'll develop. The more time you spend together, it just develops like
Yep,
that
that's
way.
what happened. And that's what happened. The thing about friends is, and we always stay friends. So that's what I'm mainly dealing. He was my husband, but I lost a friend. He was more than just my husband, but he was my friend, my best friend. So that's hard when you lose.
You lose both,
and being
yeah.
friends in the marriage is what helped throughout the marriage.
Oh, yeah.
Even in our disagreements and different things like that. When you have a friend, if you got a good friend, you never want to hurt your friend.
yes.
You never want to
Yes.
hurt your friend. So
Yes.
you're like, oh my God, we're gonna die. I don't want to lose my friend. So even in our disagreements and little things that we would have, friendship, I tell anybody, friendship was really kept us. It wasn't so much of us being a husband and wife and love, but it was our friendship that kept us together, because when the husband and wife part failed, you know what I'm saying? Failed. The friends stood up.
Well, yeah.
The friend came to the husband. The friend came to the wife, because the friend didn't want to lose a friend. So the friend is what tried to make everything work out when the husband and wife part. Because
Yeah.
husband and wife, you get mad, you go that way. But if you my friend, I'm not staying in the room all day.
That give me
Right.
chill bumps. I feel the Holy Ghost in that
Yeah,
one.
I'm not staying
Now
away
let's
from my
let's talk about
husband.
that. Now, see, the thing is, and you just brought it up. I love it. That a husband and wife, we can fall out, and things
Yes.
can come into play that cause us to get upset and things of that nature. And we must stick and stay. But if you have that friendship,
Yes.
it will step in and hold things together when otherwise each person might go in their own way.
Yes.
Because we will go through trial and tribulation.
Yes, we will.
Your
Yes.
every marriage will be
Every
tested.
marriage.
Will be tested. Am I right, Pastor?
Yes, every marriage will be. And I tell you this, even when we first got married, I promise you this much. And around our marriage, it's just a whole lot. Because too, that's a whole nother topic. You come into marriage with baggage. I don't care if it's this big, that big. It's you coming in with something.
Oh, you
know
preaching
what I'm
now.
saying? You're coming in with something. You're not coming in perfect. You're not coming in empty-handed. You know what I'm saying? So you coming in, and I tell you this much, and I tell people, like, the first like 1 or 2 years was like rough. We didn't even know if we was going to make it, because what I like to tell people is, okay, the marriage part is over. You done had the big hula, okay, the friendship from, you know, you being before you got married is different when you do get married. Now you're in a covenant, you know, more so than a commitment. Now you're in a covenant relationship, and you're in this covenant relationship, and you can't, like a boyfriend, you can't just get up and run. You made a covenant vow. You got to stay there and work it out regardless of what it is and how it is. And so, and that's what we were processing. And then you're still getting to know each other. You think you know each other, but you don't know each other until you live with each other.
So now, did you and for you to Pastor TC? So did you all talk about that before the marriage? Did you, did you all have a conversation about, that it's going to be some tests in this marriage, and our friendship should hold true, and that, we won't stay mad, but we have to work things out, that, we just can't quit on each other because of the covenant relationship. Did you all have that conversation before marriage?
Yes, matter of fact, we had counseling before marriage, and even in our counseling, my brother-in-law, he did counsel us, and everything. And so even in that, we talked a lot about our past. Your past is so important to talk about, because, you may not you may not feel your past before you get married, but your past will come out in the marriage because of triggers and different things like that. So we talked a lot about, our past, where we come from, our hurts, our rejections, so many different things. We talked about our parents, how we were brought up. Like, with me and him meshing in the beginning, part of our problem was I had a different idea and perspective on family, because I grew up in a one-parent home. I grew up with a Wonder Woman mother. She did everything independent by. He grew up in a two-parent home. So that's different. My rearing on children was different. His rearing on children. So we had like a clash because of our families were very different. I come from a home where my mom was independent. She did it. So I come from women. We independent. We do it. I don't need your help now. You want to help, you can, but I got this, So I had, on my end, I had to learn how to submit, to let him, be man, be, not
Take
so
that
much
role.
that role, because, if I ask to do it and you ain't do it like in 5 minutes, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know how women is. I
got it. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Just sit there.
But that was not it. It was a collaboration. It was a togetherness. And then on his end, his two-parent home, he watched dad do everything, and mom, it was but we talked about a lot of it, but it still didn't mean that it didn't come up, and different things like that. So I knew about him, he knew about me, and but we still had to, it still all came up.
Yeah, and
it
I'm
still all came
imagining
up.
you had to come up with your own solution, because you come from a one-parent household, he comes from a two, so that's two different ways of being raised.
Yes.
And I'm assuming when you all came together as one, that y'all had to mesh that up too, because he had his ideas, you had your ideas, and y'all had to probably work through some of those issues that may have come up.
We did. It was challenging, because it's two people now learning each other. It's two people now, like you said, trying to make it one. That's hard.
Yeah.
The two become one. That's hard.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
hard.
it is.
Trying to be one. But we got it. We got it together. Well, let's say I got it together. I got it together. And so, but it worked out.
That was good, because when me and my wife got together, we didn't have those conversations. And I wasn't in the ministry at all. I was just church choir. And those are very good things to bring to the table before you get married to discuss, because it do help. But like I said, me and my wife, I just jumped in like double dutch. I just jumped in and things start jumping. I'll turn it on, touch it down. I'm doing stuff like that. And but the thing is, I had God.
Right.
And God was able to calm me down and keep me at his side when the world was trying to pull me away from his side.
Wow, yeah.
And then I had some real good godly friends. The Bible says, you should get don't get ungodly
That's
counsel,
right,
get
right,
godly counsel.
godly, yes.
So I had Minister Fuel and his wife, and I had some other friends. Michael's a good friend, and they give you good advice, godly advice, And but I'm gonna move forward. I've been watching your Facebook page and stuff, and this was so remarkable right here that prior to your husband's death, you guys was at Chicago kicking it. Y'all was having a ball. Y'all was having. I was looking out like, man, go y'all, go y'all. And I was just loving it. And God, and I just saw God in there. And God knew the, He know the future, He know the past.
Yes.
He knew, and I just thought, if you see God, you step back and you look. God had y'all doing it up before He took them.
Yes.
Doing it up. Y'all was just having a ball.
Yes. We had a beautiful, we went with some friends and we just had a beautiful time. And long and behold, even on the way home, he was getting sick then.
Okay, I know.
But we didn't know. We didn't know what it was or anything like that, because his sickness just came out of the blue. That's why I tell you his death is so for as us, it's not untimely for God, because man days is numbered.
Yes.
So
Preacher, that's word.
his day, our days
word.
are numbered. We just don't know when. But he was getting sick on the way home. And we didn't pay attention. We thought it was like an allergy or breakout or something like that. But anyway, we had a beautiful time and everything. And we did a city tour and everything like that. It was just beautiful. And then on the way home, that's when everything would begin. He started out with swollen eyes and everything, but we thought he might have had allergic reaction or, something he ate. So we trying to rehearse, well, did you eat something or what happened? And of course, being 25 years married, he's not allergic to nothing but bananas. So, but I'm just trying to figure out what is going on. He's not allergic to anything but bananas. And so we're trying to figure out. And so, it keeps going on and on and on. So, he goes to the doctors and nobody still knows anything. Nobody knows anything. This like the latter part, like the middle part of July. And nobody knows anything. Then the next thing, he's breaking out and all different type of things is going on. His breathing, his health, all swelling. Everything is just happening. So we're like, oh my God, like what is going on? So finally, long story short, out of nowhere, my husband is 56 years old. He was 56. And just out of nowhere, finally they did a skin biopsy and come back. He has lupus.
Oh, wow.
Like, where do you get lupus at 56 years old? Like,
just come out of,
just come out of nowhere. Like, we like, lupus, what happened? I'm like, wait. They was like, ma'am. No, they was like, Miss Lucas, yes, they showed me the page. He has lupus.
Came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. I'm like, and with lupus is neither genetic nor anything. It can just happen, but unfortunately it happened to him. But it can come out of nowhere. It don't have to be in family. It don't have to be nothing. It can just come out. And so, and I said, lupus. I said, where do you get lupus? They was like, I said, nobody in the family, nobody. Where he get this from, So, and they couldn't say, and the doctor was like, well, lupus is just a autoimmune disease that we have not yet honed on. We don't know why it happens. We don't know where it comes from. We can't pretty much arrest it, because we don't really know. We just know how to treat it. We know how to treat it. And so they did that, and he got the lupus, and then from lupus, all of the symptoms start coming in, the arthritis is another name for that, but
pain.
The pain, the arthritis is a lot of joint pain. Is real bad, and in order for that to be treated, they give you steroids. And so he was taking the prednisone and different. So that helped him to mobile, but then the prednisone was having effects on him. So it was still that was having an effect on him. So it was so many things that was going. But one thing, he did not suffer. He did not suffer, and I can tell you this much, long story short, from that time of being diagnosed with lupus, like maybe the middle part of July, probably going into the ending part, probably like within a month's time, my husband passed.
Wow.
From that, because then after a while, autoimmune, It works on the organs. Lupus works on the organs. So you see a lot of people walking around with lupus. It's nobody but the grace of God.
Yeah, grace of
it's
God.
nobody, because it shuts down. It shut down kidneys. It shut down so many things. But thank God that didn't start happening until he got admitted in the hospital to be treated. And then his kidneys went down. He had to do a little dialysis, and then after a while he developed a rare pneumonia, pneumocytosis. Very rare pneumonia.
Pneumonia is
It
dangerous
is very
itself.
dangerous. It's pneumocytosis is a very rare one, and it's like a beast.
Pneumonia
it's
is a beast.
It's crazy.
Ugly disease.
And so he got that, and so from there he went on the. He had to be intubated, because he couldn't breathe because fluid was building in his lungs. So. And from that point on, but he was alert. He was around. I was there every day by his side, and he was alert, and he was, around and different things like that. And then finally, it just he just passed,
Okay.
So.
Now, during this time you was going through it, what was your thinking? Lord, where was you talking to God or?
Oh my God, I stayed in God's face. I stayed in his face. My thinking was, as a believer, as with any other believer, you believe in the power of prayer and you believe in the power of healing. You believe in healing. You believe God is going to bring you out of this. You don't, death is something you know it's supposed to happen, but you don't never think it's you. You know what I'm saying? You don't never think it's you, but one day is going to be you. But but in our mind, we have a time when it's going to be us. We have a time when it's going to be, because me and my husband's plan was like, okay, babe, we were just sitting, laying in bed. Okay, honey, we're going to grow old together. You're going to close your eyes. I'm going to close my eyes, and we're going to say, Lord, take us. We going together. I'm 90, you how old you is, and we going together. That's it. Take us. So that's our plan, to go together, but it didn't happen like that. But anyway, I'm going through so much in my mind. I'm praying, I'm believing God, I'm trusting God, and I know God hears my prayers. So I got that on my side. People are praying. I said, I know you hearing their prayers. So he got to come through this.
Yes.
And so I'm positive, but I'm still scared at the same time, because there are times where, the will of God is going to be done no matter how much we pray. You can pray, but if there's a will of God to be done, that's going to trump everything. It don't matter. And it's not that he didn't hear my prayers, because I battled through that too. I'm like, well, and when he passed, it was just so disappointing, and it was so hurtful. I'm telling you, it was so hurtful. I think I might have shut down a couple of, and I'm a prayer person. I think I might have shut down for almost about a good couple of weeks to a month from God. I mean, I was hurt. I was like so devastated. I was devastated. He didn't answer. I didn't understand. Then first of all, I was dealing with the fact of, God, where the loop, like, why so quick? Why so fast? Because we was never prepared for this. We had nothing to prepare. I said, Lord, it would have been something if you prepared me, and the doctor said, okay, he only have this certain amount of time. Come on. But the doctors was even optimistic. Matter of fact, that Monday, he was coming off the institute. Everything was coming out.
People live with lupus.
Yeah,
I know
people
that
can
got
live
lupus.
with it. So, he was coming off, it was bringing them off, and that Tuesday morning, it was just so devastating, and I just closed myself in. I just went into myself. I closed myself off from God, and I just closed myself off. I was around people, but I wasn't around people. I was here, but I wasn't. I just was shut down. I just was hurt by the fact that, God, I don't understand. I just don't understand him. Him. And I said, he's a soldier. He's in the work of the Lord. He's doing that. What? Right. So it was a lot. I was going through a lot of emotions. And I expressed just exactly how I felt to God, whether it was something mean, whether it was something hurtful, whether it was something. I expressed who I was to God. I expressed what I was feeling, because he already knew how I felt anyway.
Because when death come knocking at the door, and we as Christians, we got somebody for death, and it's our God.
Right.
And God is the maker of death.
Yes,
he owns everything.
Yes.
And so when God don't answer that call, what do you do?
Yes.
Is it right to go off on God? Mm-hmm. Is it wrong to go off on God? Mm-hmm. What do you do? At that point, how did you feel towards God, and what did you tell him?
As far as it right, I don't know. I don't know if I want to use the word right. I think I would say my humanity, is what now to a believer, okay, we say the spirit's supposed to take over. But you said something that was most important in the beginning of this show. We were never supposed to experience death.
Right.
We don't know death. So if we don't know something, we don't know how to handle it. So we have to learn how to handle death because death was never in our makeup. We were supposed to live for eternity.
Yes.
So if we don't know how to handle death, of course we're going to say things like, wait a minute, oh, wait, we ain't supposed to handle death. Where'd death come from?
Yes.
So we're going to act out of our humanity and, and stuff. So I was, like I was getting ready to say, believer, we're supposed to be spiritual and stuff like that. But I tell anybody, that's not going to happen all the time. You're not going to be spiritually minded first because first you're trying to process through what is going on. So my thinking was I just told God, like I said, how I felt, whether I was angry at him, I didn't understand, God, why would you do this to me? Different things like that. So I won't say it was a right. I think it was more of me, my humanity, how I felt, because this is my thinking. Whether I felt that God cared about how I felt or not, I had feelings.
Amen.
And what you allowed hurt me. Now, he's sovereign, he's this and he's that. And I'm not condoning anybody to talk to God like that. But I had to validate and acknowledge my feelings. I got the Holy Ghost, but I wasn't going to sit there and be Holy Ghost filled, fire, speaking in tongues and all that. No, I wanted to speak in a tongue, but it wasn't the Holy Ghost tongue.
You was hurt.
I was hurt.
You hurt.
And it really sounds like you were going through the grieving process.
Yes,
you're going
I was.
through those, the 5 stages, because you're denial, anger, acceptance. And you even had some bargaining in there where you were like, okay, all these people praying, I'm praying, God, I know you're going to answer these prayers. And then when he didn't, you have that anger that you have to deal with. And so it sounds like you're going through that process. And then the final stage of that is the acceptance stage.
Yes, the acceptance. And that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
At accepting it, it's still all fresh. I'm that's where I'm at now, accepting, because his passing is still unbelievable to me. It's just I cannot believe, like, I'm waiting for him to come through the front door. I'm waiting for him to come upstairs. I'm waiting for him. It's still unbelievable to me, and so I am still processing through to the acceptance of I know he's passed and everything like that, but it's still kind of hard, but I'm in a better place now with God. So I'm in a better place, and he gives me that inner peace that I need at the times that I need it. He gets me through, and he does all of that.
Tell me about that part. How do you get back with God from this situation, from a death, and he had the power to change it? How do you get back with God and move forward? How was that process?
One of the things I had to understand was I had to go back to who God was.
Amen.
That's where I had to go back.
Amen.
I had to go back once I got myself together, did my spiritual, or whatever. I had to go back to who God was, and I had to begin to receive him as who I knew him as. One, he was sovereign. I had to exalt him. I had to acknowledge he's sovereign.
Amen.
He sees and he knows all things.
Yes, he does.
He knew this before I knew this. I had to put him back up in a place in my life where he was always there, but in our mind we think we dethroning God. But
right.
he has always been
Amen.
there. He's present. He's always there. But I had to first go back to who he was. Wait a minute. Who am I dealing with? Who is this? Who is God? So I had to go back to who he was. I had to put him back where I knew he needed to be at in my life. And once I began to do that, then I had to receive who he was. First I put him back, then I had to receive him as his sovereign God. And once I really got back to that place to know who he was, and I started beginning to get better, because it was, and knowing who he was, I came to find out it's nothing that I can do to change anything. I couldn't change nothing. I couldn't do anything. No. It was nothing that I can't bring him back. I can't, so you go back in your mind, okay, he knows everything. He knew this was going to happen, and okay, he's sovereign. He's going to take care of it. He's going to do all of that. And so once I begin to go back to who he was, and when you learn who God is, a lot of things just come into play. It just falls into place. So my peace began to fall into place.
Hallelujah.
My acceptance, that word, it began to fall in place. Me grieving about it began to be more manageable. So many things begin to be more manageable once I began to just remember who God was, because within myself, I can't do nothing. Yes. Within myself, I couldn't get through, what I, is at one point, I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to live. I don't even want to live no more, because people don't understand, that's, I can't explain it, but that is a loss. Mm-hmm. I lost my mother. Right. And what happened was, and even in me losing my mother had passed, I thought in my mind, okay, I can handle it the same way. I can handle the death situation the same way. But come to find out, that's two different losses.
Yes.
That's two different losses. Yes. So I couldn't handle it the same way. This was a husband. This was, a soulmate. This was all of that.
That's good. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's a total different loss. A whole different relationship. Right, on a relationship wise, that is so different. So you can't grieve the same way. Right. So my hurt is deeper than it was for my mother. You know what I'm saying? Because my husband, this is an intimate relationship. Yes. He in me, right. I'm in him. This is intimate.
Won.
We won.
Right.
It wasn't like that with my mother.
Right. Because you lose part of yourself.
You lose, and that's what I felt like. Wow. I left. That's what I felt like. I lost like part of myself, and I'm like, well, God, what am I here for? Right. But I still had children. I got grandchildren, but you just go through so much in your mind. I'm like, I don't want nobody. I want my husband. Yeah. I don't want nobody else. I want my husband. Right. But that's how I came back from that, and through much prayer, staying in the presence of God and much prayer. But only thing I can say is when I went back to knowing who God was, everything began to come back into the fold. My peace, my joy, all of that.
So let me ask you. So when this was, when he passed, it's like God, it seemed like you ain't there, but now since he passed, you're like, God, you are there. Mm-hmm. And how do you see God being there, pulling you up and helping you go forward? Mm-hmm. It's a big difference from, and like I say, he's still the same God. Mm-hmm. But knowing God help you to get through this storm. Oh. We always hear that you go through the storm and it's your storm. Mm-hmm. But God said He'd be in the storm with you. Right. And we are always go through the storm, but when you got God with you, it helps a great deal.
Yeah, and here's the thing, God was always there.
Yes.
He was always there. He was always there, but because I was angry at him, he wasn't there. You know how you get angry at somebody?
And turn your back, like, I ain't right.
You know how you get angry, you stop calling him, you stop, whatever. Right. So the thing with God was, he was always there. But because of me being angry and me being in a place that I didn't see him. Or I ignored him.
Yes.
But he was always there. And so, like I say, when I came back to who he was, I can see him. I can see him now. But for the most part, in getting past, I still keep to remember who he is. And of course, the word and prayer and different things like that when I go into those places, because it's very easy to go into I live in a house where the man, it's so much that can happen. Right. And I tell people a lot of my times is at nighttime. when the day is through, when the day is done. And, you know, a lot of it comes at nighttime, not so much during the day, but at nighttime, because that's what a lot of times when, you know, he's off of work and, you know, we really had time, you know, to mesh and, you know, talk and everything. But for the most part, just remembering who God is and that he is present, and just drawing on him, his strength. Nothing in me, I'm keeping in mind, is nothing in me that can get me through this. Nothing but my willingness. That's all it is. It's nothing but my willingness and allowing him. You know, now I'm in a place I allow him. Before then, no, I don't want you to touch me. I don't want you, because I felt such a big disappointment. You know, no, you didn't do it before, so I want you, you know, you go through all of that, you know, and stuff like that. And I tell people it's okay, but don't let it take you too far, you know, but just keeping him where he's at. And that's how I get through it. And I'm praying in the word of God, and I got family, I got people around me, you know, that's supportive, because you need that. You need that. You need that support. So, yeah.
My thing is, when you have death in the family, or whatever death, friends and relatives, they come around and they embrace you, they show you love, they there for you, and that feel great.
Yes.
But then at night,
Yes.
or a week later,
Yes.
when the funeral is over with,
Yes.
and they all going back to work and
Yes.
doing their thing,
Yes.
now you like, bam, you there
Right.
by yourself.
Yes.
Now it comes again. Here come that
Yes.
that residue of death coming back.
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
Oh, wow. Like I said, the nighttime is like the hardest. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't want to sound like it's, you know, too religious, but how I just overcome it with prayer.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I can do, is like, God, just, you know, just give me and my family, my children, you know. And it's so funny because my husband passed, but then I think like it was a week later, my grandbaby was born.
Yes, I remember I saw that.
The grandbaby
Beautiful baby.
was born.
Yeah.
So one was going out, and I'm telling you, God he's just
Awesome,
something.
baby.
One was going out and one was coming in. And my daughter said something, so, you know, the one that had the baby, she was like, well, Ma, she said, well, I look at it like this, how I process through it. She said, God gave us a balance. She said, that very few experience. She said, we got a balance. Daddy, death, and then life came in. You know, and that was a balance. And the baby is such a healer to the family.
Yes.
He is such a healing
Yes.
so that also
And
helps
it's a
too.
male?
And it's a male. It's a male. And he is such a healing to the family. So even just in little things at night. So it's not one particular thing, you know, because if not, I'll be laying in that bed in a sunken place. So it's a lot of things, you know, God can do, but there's some things that we as people, we got to do ourselves. I can't lay there in the bed, like, you know, when I'm feeling that feeling, I'll get up sometime, you know. I'll get up, I'll move, I'll do something. I'll go get the grandbaby or something, get around the children or something like that, because I always have to be careful, because the enemy can come in that too.
Yeah.
You know, the enemy, you know, coming that too. Now I'm seeing things, and now I think I hear him talking, and, you know,
Right.
all kind, you know, grieving is something. And so, and I told somebody, and I said, now I understand, because, you know, reading the Bible, you know, God, he gave them so many days to mourn.
Yes.
And then he was like,
It's time to
that's
mourn,
it, 30
time to
days,
get-
40
right.
days.
Amen.
That's
Come on, you
it.
preacher.
That's it. That's it. We got to get up after Moses died, Aaron died. You know, it was so much time. So I
And you know what?
understand that.
That's good, because
Yes.
not while you saying it, it just hit me. It's so much time God wants you to mourn.
That's it.
Because if you go past that time,
Yes.
now a spirit
Yes.
can come and inhabit you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you'll go into a deeper
Yes, a
depression,
deeper- yes.
or it can bring more spirits
Yes.
and cause things to be unbalancing you and
Yes,
cause
yes.
things that God don't want to happen.
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but how do you turn that off? How do you go through, especially a death like yours, where it was an intimate relationship, is a relationship over 25 plus years? I think you have to go through that process. But how do you put a time limit on it?
Well, you probably can't actually put a
can.
time limit on
You
it,
can.
but you got to, your spirit got to know it's time to move forward. It's at a time, and it say, because everybody's time is different,
Right.
Pastor. And you got to know what's inside yourself. To life is for the living, and yeah, we love the one who passed away, but the one who passed away who loved you as well want you to continue life. Especially if they're Christian, they'll be absent from the body, be present with God. And they are in joy, they are in love, and there is not suffering. They are ecstatic being with God, and they want you to finish the race, and they want you to live life because they say, hey, the life is for y'all. I'm in presence of God, and y'all need to finish the race for yourself so you can be in presence with God.
Yeah, I kind of look at it too, like, when people die, it's because their job on earth is done.
Yeah, it's definitely done, yes.
And we're still here because we still got work to do.
Yes.
And so that kind of helps me move past the death. I think I still go through the grieving process, and I'm just basing it like when I lost my dad.
Yeah, I remember that.
And at that point, my dad and I were really close. We were real good friends. We, golf together, do all kind of things together, and it was sudden, so it wasn't expected at all. And so. I don't know who told me that, but someone told me that, his work was done here.
Yeah.
God was ready for him.
Yeah.
And you never, I don't want to forget my husband. So you never forget about him, but the grieving part stops.
Yeah.
So you just have the memory. So you have to come to a place where the grieving part stops. But he goes along with me in my memories and everything, but I'm still in the grieving. I'm still in I'm still in the clutches of it. I'm still in the clutches, and everything like that. But
And
I don't think you
even,
never stop.
You don't,
You
because
don't.
I can remember just this year, I don't know what caused it, but just started thinking about my father, and the tears started welling up, and I got emotional, and that was 2004 when he passed. So
It's okay because the reason you did that because the love never leaves.
Yeah.
The love never leaves. And when you start thinking about them, it's okay to tear up and cry. But then after that, you move on.
Yeah.
The love will last forever.
Yeah.
Because everybody love comes from God. And God love is forever and ever. And even when my mom passed, I was like, she had a heart attack, and I went to the doctor. Like, we try to resuscitate her, And I'm a Christian. I'm like, man, you better move out my way, because the Word of God said, greater works that we would do than Jesus did. So I'm like, I'm finna go in there and do some greater works. I said, shoot, my faith is way up there. I said, I just want to see the body. Just let me see the body. He's like, she not dressed. I said, let me see the body. Like, Mr. Thomas, he's like, all right, let me see the body, because he ain't saying no. So I went in there, and my mom was laying there, and I'm like, I got to praying. I started, praying, and Lord, I was praying hard, and I heard God's voice say, stop. I'm not stop. Like, she's resting with me. And that gave me such a peace. Because his word, I'm reading his word, I said, that's how God talks. He said, she's resting with me. Stop. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. So I was just giving them praise, because now I knew that I was on track. But God said, don't do it, because she's with me. And, and I'm like, with you is everything.
Everything.
And I'm willing to give her to you.
Yes.
Than me to be happy.
Right.
Because I know no one can make them happy like God.
Nobody.
And I think a lot of times we're selfish.
There we go. I said, how could we be
want them
selfish
to
like
be with
that?
us
Right.
forever.
How could we be selfish, like holding somebody back from their greatest adventure ever?
Yeah.
Let them go. Let them go. Because if we could see what they're going to, you like, I'm going, let me go. You grab onto their coat. I'm coming with you. Because ears have not heard, eyes have not seen what God have in store for us as people. But you got to know you got to know him. You got to let him live inside you. And me to you said, and I've been watching, you know, I seen you preaching again. God said, it's time for you to. He called you for people.
Yes.
And you got to speak that word because God put word in your mouth for the people.
Yes.
Words that will speak life.
Yes.
And not death.
Yes.
And so, and even your husband, like, come on, baby.
Yeah.
You know. You know what it's all about. You know what you about. Be about your father business.
Yes.
That's why I'm hearing God say, be about your father business.
Yeah, and also keep our and real quick, keep our ministry in prayer. So he wasn't just in the loss to our family, but to our ministry.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah.
To the ministry, he was a great big loss. You know, his family back at home. So it's a lot. My husband touched a lot of people.
He touched me one day.
Lives, a lot of people.
Yes.
And I told somebody when God gave me him, he went in his own treasure chest.
Amen.
And he gave me a jewel. He gave me his best. He gave me his best, and in my mind, it's not another one on the earth that walk like it. You know, he gave me his best, and so, you know, so we're all in transitioning with it and everything, but yeah.
Because some people always says that, you know, and which would be better, well, they're like, well, can't really say better, which one would be worse. Quick death or long drawn out death. You know, I was like, either way it goes, it's terrible. It's a bad experience. And, you know, a quick death, you know, you don't get a chance to really say a whole lot, but long drawn out death is that they suffer. And, you know, you get to talk, whatever, but they suffer. It's like buffaloes are ugly.
And it was very quick. That's a good thing. I like he was quick. And like I said, he did no suffering. I was with him until the end by his bedside, even when he took his last breath. You know, I was right there by his side. So, like I said, from July to August, I'm like, oh my God, you know, it was very quick. So he didn't do no suffering. So that's what I thank God for. You know, he didn't do any of that. So that was a joy. And I thank God all the time that, you know, after 25 years of marriage, the least he honored me was being by his side.
Amen. And y'all had a beautiful time.
Beautiful.
And I was looking at that like, man, God let y'all just enjoy each other.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of time in death, and this is what God has shown me, you got to look at the fruit that's been going on before you. You know, you got to grab all the good stuff that was going on, that was happening, you know, and hold on to that.
Yes.
You know,
yeah,
because,
definitely.
you know, like I had a friend who passed away, Maurice Brown, you know, and rest in peace in heaven, because he was a Christian. And I remember I was like, walk into the hospital. I'm like, Lord, what's up with this? You know, I've been praying, and God, you know, took me to Jesus when he was in the garden, Gethsemane, and he's like, you praying, you want this to happen, right? Yeah, I'm praying hard, but God said, look at Jesus. What did Jesus say? Let your will be done. Nevertheless, let your will be done. He said, let your will. So we gotta learn. We gotta let God will be done, even though it's not our will. But when we line up with God, we say, God, we let your will be done.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, we only got a couple minutes left, and we go end the show for today. But you want to give some people a little advice about how to deal with death in about 1 or 2 minutes?
The only thing that I would say is, because I don't want to be too spiritual about it, but although as a believer, you know, it is a spiritual component to it. But you're going to feel things, and you're going to feel your humanity. You know, majority of the time you're going to feel that first before anything else. But only thing that I can say is, you know, remember God, because that's what helped me when I remembered who he was. You know, get back to that place of remembering who he was, his sovereign, put him back where he was, and different things like that, and your prayer and all of that stuff, because those are your faith. That's what's going to see you through that. You know, what's helping me right now is my faith and in my trust and my belief in God and family and just different things like that. But
Okay.
I can't tell you that you're not going to have bad days or anything. You're going to have them. But just remember who God is. And when you remember who he is, all of that stuff comes together.
All right. Chop it up in 2 weeks. Find your church. Get Jesus into your heart. God bless you. 2 weeks, y'all. Chop, chop, chop it up.